kingdoms collapse. Now anarchy reigns. You want it, you got it. Now anarchy reigns.
What's going on?
What's up, buddy? How are you today?
I'm good, my friend. I'm good. Today we're talking with Palüce from the band The Coursing, or if you want, we are speaking with Dillion as well. I met you probably about 3 years ago, maybe. Roughly 3 or so years ago. You played Clarksville, and then I brought you back to come through and play my birthday bash. And was good times back then. You know, obviously, you guys are still doing your thing. How long has the band been around?
The Coursing now has been playing shows for, it'll be 4 years in July coming up. So we're doing really good. And it was funny enough, the actual first out of state show that we ever played, our second show ever was with you as well. So that's also hits home to us too as well, bro. It's like, cause like this is like full circle sometimes. You know what I mean? It's amazing.
So how do you remember how you guys got hooked up to play Clarksville?
We were actually we got asked to play Clarksville from a promoter, and his name is Danny D, and he's still doing stuff. He also works with Dead Reckoning and stuff now. So shout out to those dudes. Shout out to Danny D and Dead Reckoning. Those dudes are doing really well. So he booked us out there on the show, and I'll honestly never forget that show because that was one of the most, obviously it was our second show as this project was a thing, but it was one of the most insanely outrageous lineups as far as bands were, and that was my most favorite part about it because every band on that lineup had its own niche, had its own thing, had its own attraction to it that made you could have switched the order up in that entire show anyway, and it still would have been a phenomenal show. You would have got a different show from each and every single solitary band there. So like, what's that band? There was a band. It was two people. They were in space cat suits.
Yeah, dude. I can't remember their name, but they were rocking, dude.
Bro.
Yeah.
They looked like they literally got up and put the suit on and did that, and then ate breakfast, ate lunch, did that shit, and that's what they look like. Soulless something. We gotta go back and look at that. But literally every band on that was amazing. You guys, them, our buddies, Systematic Devastation was on that too. So it was so diverse, and I think that's one that I'll probably remember for the rest of my life, bro. That was one that definitely went down because it was one of those first like spread out kind of shows. And being in Clarksville too, being in Clarksville as well, it's like it's hard to get that specific niche of people to just come to a spot in Clarksville, let alone an entire niche of like 5 or 6 different artists. And we had a pretty decent turnout there too.
Yeah.
So
I remember when you guys first came on the stage, you guys had definitely for being a new band, this was your second show. You guys had a killer setup. You know, you had the red lights going, and you guys just had that look, you know, and you had your attire that you had on. It made you a whole nother magical person on stage. You know what I'm saying? Some of the things that I remember asking you a question about your set. We'll get into that too. But I remember there is these sound effects that were something that were between these songs. And I was like, man, are you those? You're like, no, that's me. Like, I'm doing all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty dope, man.
Yeah. So we do it still to this day, even on our next record that we have that's coming out. Like, we're a collective group, so it's like a lot of the stuff that we do, it's not really like, let's say, like program per se. It's more like more stuff that we try to finagle ourselves and warp some stuff, warp some sounds, warp some effects, warp some certain stuff. And I hand it to our drummer Tiwu, because he's like on board and will just basically lay out everything for me, and my guitar player Mike. So we're just like, oh, you know, like, this is pretty good. This kind of looks like a good thing. This kind of looks good. Excuse me. How can we warp this into making this sound like this? How can we? And it kind of works. So it's been that's actually been a huge part of our characters, who we are, because we write interludes all the time. So we have a lot of stuff in the bag that just doesn't have lyrics over it, doesn't have full structure to it, doesn't have things like that. So we write weird little mental things that we have on the side, and we utilize that as a part of our set to kind of open things up, and we've just evolved on top of it as we've tried to do that, honest to God. So our next shit's going to be top tier for sure.
Um, so you, when I saw you guys at that show, you guys were only there was only you, the drummer, and just a guitar player. You guys weren't rocking a bass player at all. It was just the three of you guys, but you guys didn't lack anything. I felt when you guys were up, you guys gave. I mean, the guitar and the drums worked well together, adding into what you do with your voice. It's just like it was not a dry spot up there. There was nothing empty. It felt like a full band, you know. But
Thank you,
I
man.
saw you guys the second time you guys had the bass player, and you were like, bro, you don't even know what he's adds to this band, dude. Like it's so dope. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was actually the first show with him as the bass
Yeah,
player.
yeah,
So a lot of firsts for you guys in
yeah.
Clarksville, you know.
Dude, it is, and that's another thing is the reason why it's like, it's like you and Blake. It's like you guys hold a real detrimental part to this band too as well, because there was a lot of first things that happened when we went to Clarksville, and it's a special place, like in our hearts. We'll definitely come back. Like here relatively soon. I was gonna try to work on something like that here coming up soon, but it's just like you said. It's like it's the first time we had Killjoy is his stage name,
Uh-huh.
and he's been such a tremendous addition to how we do things, and he's got his own element, and he does what he does, and he's got his own person, and we absolutely love that he fits that element where he is his own person that adds to the band. It's not like it's somebody that just come in and just did this and yada yada. It's like he adds and puts like a tumor, a fucking extra fucking bit to your body that's already there that kind of warps what goes on, and it's actually really great. So having him has been outrageously amazing, to be honest with you.
So you've had this. So you guys have had this. You're in the same lineup that you've had since you started. The three guys, and then you got the bass player, and now it's just like same crew. That's awesome, and that's hard to do.
Sometimes it is, we've had some people that have come in and out that have like either like auditioned for the part or been with us for a second, but it's like the one thing that really is hard to like push in, because like whenever you tour and you travel and you do everything else and you're like, yeah, we're a touring band, we do this, we play with yada yada, we do this and that, like our resume speaks for itself, and like a lot of people will be like, oh man, that's awesome, that's amazing, and they're struck by that value of it. But then whenever we bring the dailies, we bring the shit that we have expected of us for the week. Like we don't run our band like it's just a normal, we just, practice and do this. Like I actually physically hate the word practice, because we don't
Yeah.
practice. Practice is what you do at home. So we rehearse. So you practice at home and you rehearse here with me. So, and rehearsals go in so many different ways of just not being a band that just plays the music. We do meetings, we have stuff with our producers, stuff with our management team, our crew of people that actually work with us that nobody knows, but it's all those people that add a little different element to what we do. So being able to be in that element also scares a lot of people, because they're like, damn, it's like I just seen the band that was going out here doing this and that. I didn't know that it was X, Y, and Z and 1, 2, 3 added on to it at the same time. And that really does scare a lot of people, because some of us have like full-time jobs that we do,
Yeah.
and then on the same time frame we do 30 hours, 35 hours, sometimes 40 hours a week in our band room, in our studio, in our setup, because we have a studio in there. We have a full rehearsal spot that holds 125 heads. We got uh, a full operating system in there that we could just go in and just dabble. We can shoot videos in there. We can shoot promos in there. We can do photos, whatever we need to do. So it's a big atmosphere to have our stuff be able to reach in a different element, to be able to be there. And a lot of people get scared about that, because it's literally like clocking into a job, dude. Like we take it that fucking
Yeah.
serious. Like if you're late, it's like, hey, that's 30 minutes that you took away from so and so being able to do this. That's an hour that you
Hmm.
took away from. And some of us have kids and wives and stuff like that, and lives or whatever have you. So like that's a whole nother element of it, that it's like this is crucial to us. So it's like that time frame that we get to do that is very crucial, and we have to appreciate that. So having that scares some people, but having the people that we have now that have adapted into it and being able to just mold that and just keep that train going fluently is so beautiful. But to watch other people that may not even play an instrument, may not even be at the show, that are involved in the show, that help add the element, that help us with stage stuff, that help us with travel, that help us with so and so. It's like there's more than just the 4 people that are 5 people, 6 people,
Yeah.
whatever we do that are playing on stage that do it, bro. It's crazy. We have a camp full like 20, 25 people that are here for us, man, and it's beautiful to watch. But it's crazy that people see it as what it is on stage, but a lot of people don't really know what happens behind the curtain.
Yeah, there's a whole other thing back there behind the
Yeah,
curtains, you know.
so much,
Um,
so much.
so were you in it before the coursing started? Were you in a band before this, or is this your first band?
So I started playing, to take it back there. I started playing music and shows and stuff when I was like, well, technically I started playing music when I was like 11, 12 years old.
Mhm.
And then I started playing shows when I was like 15, 16. And me and some of the bands, we was in like friends with our friends that were in bands and stuff like that. So we would just do small stuff or whatever and rehearse, and we'd have people come over and listen to us. But we started getting the first couple gigs and stuff. We're like 15, 16, real young. And it was like we was going to little bars around our small town that we couldn't get into. So it's like we had to wait outside until, like, me personally, I was in a band that was the members were older than me, like 7, 8, 9 years older than me,
Wow.
and I was the
Okay.
youngest in the band. And we were going to play places that I couldn't physically get into. So the only way that I could get in there was whenever we were playing. So it's like I had to wait outside and do this because I could get in there. When we were playing, I could go in. After I got done playing, you had to leave because you're a kid. You're coming in there. So that started a lot of things. And then I started doing like tech work and stage work and all kinds of roadie work for national bands or regional bands and stuff. And then I was still writing my own stuff and still producing like stuff on my own to kind of keep it. Never released anything. And then dabbled here and there and tried to try out some certain bands that were local to try to see if I did it, but never played a show with really any of these local bands or stuff like that I came back to Charlotte with. It was just like it just didn't fit, something didn't work out. And then it just dawned on me, and I was tired of seeing like everybody else do X, Y, and Z, and me have all this shit sitting. And a band, I was talking with one of my friends, his name's Brett, and we were talking about some music and stuff, and he was in a band called Something Clever that was really, really, really big around that time frame, and I was doing a lot of work for them. And he was like, "Yo, there's this band that needs a vocalist. You should try it out." And I was like, "Sure." So I did, and they were a different band at the time, and it kind of worked out. They brought me down there and tried out and stuff. And I sent a video before of me doing one of their songs and stuff. And they were like, "We got to come down." And then I did it. They loved it, whatnot. So I stayed. And then I went down like 2 or 3 times a week to go down there for like 3 weeks straight. And then the drummer of the band was like, "Bro, we really fuck with you. You should just stay down here." And I was like, "All right, I'll do it." And it got to a point where like the seriousness were from certain members were one way and certain ones were from another way. And I'm a very driven person, so it's like I'm bringing energy 100% of the time. Like you've known me for over 3 years, and
Yeah.
I don't stop. I don't
No,
stop.
they hustle.
So it kind of added into it, and some people couldn't do that or deal with it, and some people could. So people leave and stuff, and then we were in a band. It was a different name, and then it was like no original members in it. So it was like, why keep that name if there's no original members? Let's do something fresh. And we all come up with a band named The Coursing, and we sat for like 3 years and wrote music, produced music, put stuff together. Didn't play shows, didn't do nothing, didn't put anything out, didn't show anybody we had anything, and just worked on that shit. And members dropping in and out, different drummers, different guitar players, yada yada. It happens until it is where it is now, that it's a well-oiled machine. And it's like there's so much, like I say again, like behind the scenes that people don't see,
Mhm.
that really molds this stuff. And what's crazy, dude, is that even the people that were involved in this band before, or the organization that was set up for before, they're still somewhat here, and we're still friends with them. Some of them, like we're still talk, we still hang out, we still throw information back and forth. But it's crazy to see how everything's transformed into us being those 4 people that are up there doing that shit, or 5 people or whatever have you, based on the show. So it's crazy that that transition in 3 years has brought us to where we are now today. You know, like I say, like we really can't do it without people that give a shit. Really, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
no band can. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I do give that to you a lot, man. I do see you out there hustling all the time, dude. You're always this the band. You always are posting something about the band. The band's always doing this, or vote for us to get into this because you're always trying to get yourself to the next level. You guys played 2 years ago. You guys played what fest did you play?
Oh, 2 years ago, we played quite a bit. We did Welcome to Rockville.
Yeah, how was that?
Bro, Welcome to Rockville is probably one of the most surreal experiences that we've played as a even to this day. I'll be honest with you. Um, Being on that kind of level where you're playing on a festival with Metallica,
Hmm.
Slipknot, Jelly Roll, you know, like all these other huge fucking artists. And, you know, even though we're on the like the small stage that's there, you know, granted, but there's 60,000 people that bought tickets to this festival. So it's like there's people that you can see as far as the eye can see that were just there, just walking,
Hmm.
just there, stuck there, watching us and seeing that. And that festival playing that was probably the quickest like I've probably ever had in my entire life
Yeah.
ever because everything was firing off on all cylinders. Everything was good. It was like being in an environment where you didn't have to worry about dick because everybody that was there was on a way super professional level, and so are we. We're trying to bring ourselves at that element, being as young as we are as this
Yeah.
band was. You know, like we're playing with bands that have been around for 20 years, 25 years, 30 years, 15 years, you know, whatever have you. And it's like watching that and then us going to do our shit and the people that were involved with it were like, damn, like these guys are good, you know? And you get that credibility with being a genuine person when it comes down to it, that those people look out for you. So a lot of people don't know this about certain stuff. It's like when you play festivals or shows or stuff, the sound man or the engineer that's working on stuff, they have a huge hand into what you sound like and to
Yeah.
what comes out. So they can either pull you real down in the mix and real soften you up, and they can raise you up and make you sound big and huge. So we sound really good there with the people that we had because we made good connections and had that good thing and got good time to be able to sound check our stuff and be good to not only for like the other fans that were there and the stuff that were there, but to be respectful and to show the other bands that are way bigger than us. It's like, hey, we're not bullshit. We're not
Yeah.
bullshitting you. We really mean what we're trying to do here. So that intel with it, where everything goes by so quick, because like when shit fucks up, you feel. I mean, and you know, it's like at a festival, at a show. If shit fucks up, you feel like you're there forever. You feel like
Oh
that
yeah.
instant takes so much time, right? But when everything's so smooth and rolling, it's like you don't have a cares for it. And Danny Wimmer and the dudes that run all the DWP stuff and everything, they were so nice to us, so sweet to us. Gave me an insurance policy there too as well for our band in case anything happened to us, and that's
Wow.
really appreciative. Yeah, it's super nice. They were like very cordial, and being on that side of it helped us get that connection where like we're really tight with like Josh Balls and a couple other people like that. You know, Josh Balls used to be emotionless. So it's like from our element of like that kind of shit, that's like really sweet to us, bro. That it's like if we need something or if we actually have questions, that there's other people out there that are like way bigger than we can ever fathom that could be like, hey man, like try this. Hey man, do this. Hey man, it's probably not smart if you do this. So playing that kind of festival gave us that kind of element to be able to tap into more than just playing the show. It tapped into more than that. It opened us to be more intelligent with our networking skills and our people around us and actually feeling a vibe of how shit should go. So being on that shit was amazing, but also being able to I'll be honest with you, more than anything, being able to be on a festival, whether it was on the same stage or a different stage or whatever have you, from being on there with like Slipknot and Metallica, like that was the cherry on the
Bands
top.
bands that you looked up to and were influences on you. You're sitting there on a small stage playing the same festival that they're playing. That's pretty
Yeah,
incredible though.
I actually got to have lunch. You can ask my girlfriend Kat. We ate lunch in catering across from Lars from Metallica.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and he's sitting there eating, and he was talking to some people about lights and everything. Oh well, I'm like about stuff and how the light setup was going with like how he wanted, and then they left, and you could see the sigh of relief where he's like, "Damn, I just kind of want to eat," and
Yeah.
I didn't say nothing to him. I didn't do anything because he's fucking Lars, and it's like to
Yeah.
have that respect to dudes that are eating. You already visibly see that people are on a shit. So I'm sitting there, and me and my lady are sitting there eating, and I'm like eating, and I'm like look up, and I see Lars, by himself, and he's chilling there after everybody left, and he sees me, and we lock eyes, and I just give him the like
The
a
nod. Yeah.
respectful nod, yeah, like because you're Lars, dude. It's like there's
Yeah.
nothing that I could tell you or say to you that you're not gonna already know, but I can give you that nod to be like, I have
Respect. Yeah.
humbled respect for you, bro. And that set off our whole shit, dude. It really did. That was like before we played. He was in there eating and shit before we played. And it was like that kind of energy. Like I say, like all this shit happens and it's like a dream, and then you snap and and it's gone. But it literally just kept rolling off into one thing into the next, and we got hit up for other festivals, we got
Hell
hit up
yeah.
to be on this and that, and it just really shows that some of these people really give a shit if you're a really genuine person, and some people really don't fuck with us. Some people really don't like us because they see us do our shit, we talk our shit because
Hmm.
we are influenced by what has made us be here, all the shit that we've been through, all the distraught shit, all the people telling us that we're nothing, that we're nobodies and stuff. So we have a lot to prove. We like really do. So
Yeah.
we go out there and show our shit, whether there's like I said again, if there's 6 people or 6,000 people, it doesn't matter. We still do our exact same shit no matter what. So we hold ourselves for that because we watched everybody else before us do the exact same thing and run their lives like that. So watching that, watching the festivals, watching being a part of that, and seeing how everybody reacts really makes shit work. And that year, 2 years ago when we did that was the real eye opener because like we played Rockville with only being a band for like 4 months.
Yeah.
And it's like
Good.
we had no business being there. There's countless of bands, thousands, hundreds of thousands of other bands that probably deserve that opportunity more than we do or did at that time frame, but it's like we didn't take it for granted,
You left it up there, man. I remember watching the live stream of that. Um, who do you take your influences from? Like like your creativity, like your who do you look into for that or get it from?
so creativity is like the number one thing in my mind that runs this band, truly like the creativity part, whether you're an artist, you're a vocalist, you're a drummer, you're a musician, you're a producer, the creativity part of it is everything for me. So Corey Taylor for me is everything that epitomizes being the guy.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like being the guy is Corey Taylor. Everybody knows Corey Taylor's not the producer. Corey is not the main dude that runs everything that's in the back tail of Slipknot, but he is the guy. That character, the face, the entity of what holds your organization, and
Yeah.
he is the best guy for that organization. So I look up to him on that level of how he perceives himself and does his stuff for the business. And the art side of shit, I appreciate Alice Cooper heavily.
Yeah.
Cooper is a huge influence to me
Great guy.
about how my creativity do. Cooper, Manson, I'm a huge Manson fan. I'm a huge supporter of the way that he shot the entire fucking world doing shit. His intelligence is the biggest thing.
Hmm.
Not even the music, just interviews, watching him speak when there's political debates, when there's people that are, trying to talk about whatever's going on in the world. He's a brilliant human being, I feel like. So people like that. Other people also is David Gunn from King 810, because he is a
Okay.
genuine artist, like the epitome. Fuck the music, fuck whatever he puts in front of your face. His art that he puts into it that runs the shit is so influential and so real that you can't help but just take all of that in there to see what he does. So he's a real big influence. Um, see if I had to say one more, to be honest with you too, as well, is like we're big horror fans too, as
Okay.
well. All of us are big horror fans. So shit like Wes Craven and the element of stuff in that early 2000s, late 90s stuff that when that came out, it's like that's what we're trying to do. So it's like when that shit come out, you were like, wow, this is fucking so surreal, but so in front of my face doing this shit. There's no weak links in a lot of stuff, even though some stuff was cheesy, some stuff was this and that. There wasn't a weak link in it. It gave you that show. It gave you that shock factor. You still remembered that. You still had that process in your brain. So we take elements of that and bring that in too. So horror movies and kind of like stuff from the early 2000s stuff has a big influence on us very, very much. But definitely Corey Manson, David Gunn, and the motherfucking horror movies is probably really it.
Um, what do you think of the new Marilyn Manson record? Have you heard it?
I have spun that shit into oblivion in the
Okay,
past like 4 or 5 days.
I'm just gonna say this.
Yeah.
Me personally, listening because I fuck with Manson hard. Like I
Yeah.
like everything. I like everything he does.
Yeah.
Even if it's not a great record, it's still a good record. But
agree.
I have a feel this record has a to me has like it could have easily been the outtakes of Mechanical Animals because it has that element so much and the way he sings.
It
But
does.
but then it got them fucking heaviness that it's I think it's one of the heaviest albums he's put out too at the
I
same
agree.
time.
I agree.
It's it's one I enjoyed it a lot. I did like you. I've been playing that damn thing like it's nobody's business, man.
Just to learn from it, just to see what's different, just
Mhm.
to see what he can add to it, and his creativity of it. Just like you said, it may be really some of the heaviest, not only musically but emotionally, because of the things that he's been through with
Mhm.
everything else piled into it and shit. When he's saying certain shit, bro, you can feel it, whether you agree with what he does or what he doesn't or yada yada. There's still that story factor of it that's bringing real feel to what he's doing, dude. And I think it's some of the smartest shit that he's did.
Oh yeah, like I said when I heard when I was waiting for it to come out. I did not want to look at the singles or hear the singles. I wanted to physically hear the record from it when it
Yeah.
came. But and I was not disappointed. Like I said, I have a to me personally, I feel like a Mechanical Animals kind of feel too. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. I,
Yeah.
I truly agree. I feel like it's a revamped, like, because there's new elements of how producing goes and how the value of an album is structured. I feel like he hit the nail right on the hammer where each song you could flip in and be like, this is Manson. This is now Manson. This is what Manson should be, even if we took it back 20 years and we were still there. That's what I feel like he would 100% still do.
Yep.
Truthfully. Truthfully.
Yeah.
So I think with a lot of the push on this record, lyrically, dude, he I take such influence on how he is so subliminal in the way that he does his lyrics. It baffles me so much, dude. And you hear him doing certain lyrics and patterns and stuff of what he does that tells you a story. But not only that, but the vibe in the back where he doesn't have to give you completely everything to be like, I'm Manson, fuck you, I'm Manson.
Yeah.
He gives you that, like, this is so open and you can hear it that you can step into the realm where I'm at and feel like I'm talking to you there with me. You know what I mean? But I feel like Reba adds that to being able to be in there, and I'm a huge Code
Yeah.
Orange fan, so
I
having
I
Reba,
but I looked it up too, but she didn't actually write on the album,
then nothing,
which but
nothing.
because I had thought that at first too. I was like, fuck, if Reba wrote some because Reba, like you said, she's a beast, but and then I looked at the thing, I'm like, well, damn, she didn't write this, but it's still heavy as fuck.
I feel like she may have not wrote anything, but I feel like she was there on the live setup where how shit's gonna transfer out, because you know, as I do, you can write a record and produce a record, and then there's some different elements and some sly things that you'll add in that adds to that live show that makes that record element of that what it needs to be, right?
Hmm.
So I feel like she was the perfect person to add that to that. So there's probably more that we don't know of it that I am
Yep, yep,
so
yep.
thoroughly ready to hear her side of this after they get done touring.
Yeah, and
And hear what she has to
I
say.
hope she's just not hired as his touring band. I would like for them to work together. I think because I mean, I don't know personally, but is she in Code Orange still? Okay, so
Yeah,
she's doing double duty, which
yeah,
I would too. Because I mean,
I would too. I would too.
you
But let me tell you what's gonna work, bro. Straight the fuck up. If they keep her, it's the smartest idea. Smartest idea is to keep her. And if they keep her in that, bring Code Orange on.
as like an
Br-
opener.
yes, Not direct support, bro. Let somebody else, one or two bands, be in the middle, but bring her on in there, so that way they have that time frame in between where she's got a
Mhm.
breather one, where also Code Orange and them can have a come down where they can see what she's doing with Manson and see
Yeah.
what Code Orange can do and see what Code Orange can help elevate Manson on a business style of it to bring him more into, which Manson doesn't need help with
Nah.
today's shit. But I'm saying, as to give another leg up in there to just an ear to be like, hey, this is also what's going on. I
Kind
think that's where it would succeed for Manson and the whole package, not just himself, but the whole
Yeah,
package.
kind of like she can kind of keep him. She can kind of keep him fresh and relevant on what kind of stuff, because she's a younger. Obviously, she's like probably 20 years younger than him,
Yeah,
and she has her ears on what's new and what's popular and style wise, and kind of give him a suggestion. Maybe you can try this part on this song here, and then But I think he seems like the kind of person that would just be like, fuck it, let's try it.
I think so too, dude. I really feel like he's not as selfish as far as writing goes. I
Hmm.
feel like he's really not as selfish as everybody picks him out to be. Because I know for a fact, a lot of people don't know this, but there's other people that are also lyricists that write shit with Manson and sit
Okay.
down with him. And people don't know that. People think it's just him. But there's other people, and he's not selfish on that element to where he's literally painting a picture, dude, and he's okay for it. So I really could see that with Reba working on that.
Yeah.
I see Reba and him doing some real soft, like a new version of like Coma White,
Okay.
but with Reba doing vocals with Manson on some shit. I see that happening.
Um, did you see them currently on this tour?
I I I wish I
No.
did, man. We were
I've seen the live videos of it, and Reba's killing it over there. Because I didn't realize at first that she was in it, and then I was like, or maybe I did know, but I just didn't remember because
in
it was
Clark.
only announced this a couple months back that she was in the
Yeah,
band. But
yeah,
she throwing it down on that stage up there, though. She's doing what she does on that stage, and that man always backs himself with a dope band. He does. He's
yes.
never had a shitty band.
Yeah, there's no weak link in Manson.
No, he's gonna get the best of the best.
Yes, yes.
Now
And
of course,
I even appreciate her statement that she put out too about it, where she's like, "Hey, man, like, pretty much to sum it up is like, what the fuck would you do? You know what I'm
mhm.
saying? Like, and really, yeah, the smartest thing she could have did. Anybody else in the entire world that got that opportunity would have taken it.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
I would have if I was in her position, I'd be like, fuck yeah. um, so I was gonna mention this real quick too when we're talking about playing Clarksville. I have my friend.
Yeah.
He got a autographed Jason Voorhees mask that you guys had, and he bought it from you guys, and he
Yeah.
had it autographed, and he has it still on his wall today with all his other Jason Voorhees stuff.
That's genuine, bro. That was actually part of a party that we had too. So
Yeah.
story for him too. We had through a party. We was all doing the shits, and Mike was wearing that, and we was getting real fucked up. That's cool. And we took that with us, and we found it. We was like, bro, like this is actually really cool. This is a part of something that we could tell a story with later. So here we are, and we just went down, and all of us were driving there, and we just took turns, and it was like a game. So on the ride to Tennessee, we all drew something on it, and then it was a challenge to the next person to add on to what you could make better for the mask.
Oh,
So
so when the coursing gets like really big, we got a landmine over here worth of money with this mask we
I'm
can sell.
telling you, that's awesome, bro.
Because I
We'll
got the
have
story. I got the story here on how that mask was painted.
that's true. That's true as fuck. True as fuck,
Oh
dude.
man. Um. So currently, you guys are busy, man. What you guys got coming up? What you guys working on? You got an album coming out?
Man, we have so I'll tell you here first because not a lot of people know about it. So we have currently in the mix about 18 tracks. And we've not fully yet decided. We're literally on the fence, and it's a whole work with our team and the people that are helping us and our new producers and stuff. Is that what's probably going to end up being in the works is that we're going to have a volume 1, a volume 2, and a volume 3 of this next material, and tell you full-length stories and open the coursing up in an even bigger element, like I'll give you a hint. So the whole element of this is the first time people hearing it here. Is a little bit intel is like, you know how Tales from the Crypt is?
Yeah.
That's our play on to these stories, these books per se that we're going to tell you in these albums.
Okay.
So we're going to do that, and we have a bunch of shit. We've gotten one, two, three, four videos, three, four videos that are already done for the album that we had to fly to Vegas and shot those with our new producer and stuff like that for a lot of our new shit. But we're working with a different producer and a different team. Our producer dad will like publicly announce everything else later, but our producer's worked with some of the best artists on the planet. He's got like 25 number one Billboard and charted songs.
Wow.
He's worked with like Motionless and White. He's worked with Bad Wolves. He's worked with let's see, Ice Nine. He's worked with let's see what lately. He's did some shit with Chelsea Grin before. He
Oh,
like
cool.
a bunch of bands that he's fucked with. So he's really taken our shit to the next level to kind of open us up to be different. And I think that's what we're working with now. So it's gonna be phenomenal, dude. And tours, we're just literally waiting to kind of run through the offers that we've got and see what's worth it. Because it's like a band like us, like we're so self-efficient too that we don't. I mean, it's not to, like toot the horn or nothing like that, but like we really try to push our shit when we do our stuff, so we can get pretty decent traveling, doing stuff on our own. But being on a bigger package, being on a bit with bigger nationals really
Yeah.
helps anybody out. You know what I mean? So we're lining it up to see what's the best bang for our buck to release this music that we put so much time and effort in to release it on the right manner and do tours. So we're just waiting on these tour offers to finalize basically on everything else before
Mhm.
we pull the next trigger to honestly. But we got a show in Winston Salem, North Carolina on Saturday. That's our last one of the year that we're gonna do, which is gonna be
Okay.
really, really nice. And we'll play a bunch of new tunes for people that won't even expect it. So just to try out some new stuff that people haven't heard, you know.
Okay. And who's on that show?
It's us, Reflectrifying, Glass, and there's a couple. There's one more other one. Shoot, I'm drawing a blank
You're
right
good. You're
now.
good.
But that one's gonna be really good at Hoots Brewing Company. I enjoy thoroughly playing at brewing companies too as well because they usually have pretty decent stages and they also
Uh-huh.
have really fucking good brews. So
Hey,
it
thank for your
works
book
out for
right
me.
there. Um,
That's fucking right.
what so when you're releasing music nowadays, you got a lot of artists that will sit here and single it up, which single every couple weeks and stuff. And then when the album comes out, it's not really anything new. But I feel how do you feel about that situation, like releasing singles instead of albums?
There's a there's a blend. I
Yeah.
think there's an even blend that you could get with it. If you're working towards something, you're pushing, it's great to release a single to hype up what you're coming. It really helps. And on the same level, it's like if you have nothing that's thoroughly building as a project inside of it, drop a couple singles every now and then and get people involved is a
Hmm.
great thing too. But it's all upon the release strategy. It really depends on what you're trying to accomplish. We have a 6 weeks per release per song that we like to have
Hmm.
a release strategy for. So if you can set it up and do singles, that's great. I love it. But I want to see an album because I'm old school.
Yeah.
Like we like old school shit. So I like seeing that most of the bands we look up to and shit dropped albums, full length, you know, 12, 14, 15 song albums that we grew up to. And we spend that for 2 years and 3 years, 4 years until we heard
Yeah.
a new album by like Slayer.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Metallica.
Yep.
I mean, like look at Slipknot. Same way.
Yeah.
So my feel is, and this is not knocking anybody at all, period,
Correct.
like
Correct.
truly,
It's,
truly,
yeah.
because everybody does their own thing, finds their own niche. But we looked up to those people as the gods of our shit, is the main reasons why we're doing what we're doing now. So it's like, I seem like it's only feels right to not only do that, but to pay a homage to those people that did that before us, to be like, you weren't wrong. You were never wrong. You gave us the shit that we wanted, the shit that we needed so bad that we didn't know we needed. And it may have happened years after it come out, but it's that shit that kept us going and stuff. I still listen to records from the 2000s, from the 90s, from the 80s that still keep me going. So it's that fucking homage to people that did it before us that I feel like records not only do it for the band, but as a respect to the motherfuckers that came before us.
Yeah, because I was like, I saw where
But I love both.
earlier this year, Falling in Reverse released their album. Of course, Falling in Reverse for the last 3 years have been dropping single after single after single, which for them, great, that's cool. But then when the album came out, everybody was bitching because all those songs that were released the last 3 years were on this record with 2 new songs, and they're like, "What the
Yeah.
fuck?" But I'm like, but it was promoted as songs from this coming album, and then he gave you 2 new tracks.
Yep.
But guess what? At the end of the day, though, those singles did really well by themselves. And then when that record came out, that record was number one. So I mean, like you said, whatever works for you is how you do your promotion.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And it doesn't
Yeah.
work for everybody that
And
way.
Ronnie's a genius.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It doesn't. But Ronnie's got that element where he can dabble. He's a fucking genius.
Well, you know who he reminds me of
He is.
as far as a
People could say,
businessman. Go ahead. Hello.
that one more time.
Okay, you had froze up on me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
You're
So
good.
who does Ronnie remind you of?
Oh, he reminds me like not as a person, but the way he works in his business. He reminds me of Franz from Attila.
Yeah.
Same thing.
He does.
The band
He
is
does.
the
Ron's a
business.
smart
It's a
businessman.
yeah. So, and that's what you should do. That's what you're gonna
Smart
do, right?
businessman. You get it. You get it. And that's why those people stand the test of time, dude. They stand the test of time, whether they're hated, whether they're loved, whether whatever's going on, they stand the test of time. And that's what I want is for this shit. This shit isn't for you as an artist once you get to a certain level. It's not. It's for these people that still listen to you, that have listened to you, that still bump your shit. It's for those people. You know what I mean? Like it's really for that growth that keeps the art of music still alive, the culture still alive, to make somebody else influence later down the road. That's really what really boils down to be honest with you.
Yeah. So do you guys said you got some videos already shot. So when you release new singles, are you going to be releasing the videos at the same time?
We're traditionally that kind of band, yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll probably release these videos relatively the same time frame as the other ones because it just works so good to have so much more content based on one
Oh, for
thing, so you
sure.
can just keep rotating it. So we got these videos for a couple of next singles to bump you to get you to album two as well. So they're gonna be great. Bro, I'm telling you. And we have one cover that we have that we're gonna drop first that's not on any of the records, just to give the fans something because we haven't popped nothing for them in a minute. We're gonna drop a good sweet cover song from an artist that we've talked about on this podcast. So
Okay.
I think
Okay.
you'll fuck with that, bro. And
Okay.
I'll take you here. So this will also be the first place that it gets heard, that anybody knows about it. But we're actually gonna drop a Manson cover.
Okay, see, I was gonna say Manson, but then I was like, well, wait a second, I don't think it was Manson. And now I'm gonna say we've only listened to other bands, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna say my guess is Alice Cooper.
Ooh, I'm dying for that. So that's something I'm working on.
What
I'm
would you
working on
do? What would you do?
Ooh, it's hard, dude. It's hard because he's got so much fucking elegant shit. And I'm not even joking with you. There's the nostalgic where you could do fucking schools out. And I think
Uh,
that's more of a theme thing that we could do that would really element our band if we decided to do that. But also I was thinking something that's more open that you would expect would be like um fucking like no more Mr. Nice Guy,
uh-huh.
uh shit like that. I think that would be really good. Another one that I would say for Cooper, ooh,
You guys
hard
should
to
do.
say.
You guys would be. It would be great if you guys did $1 billion babies.
$1 billion baby, bro. Yeah, and have like a coursing big ass baby come out there too.
Yeah,
That was
or
cool,
I
too.
can see you doing the whole thing. But see, here's the thing: you do a cover, and then you try to get him in the video.
Ooh, that's smart. See, that's
You
smart.
know?
That's real smart. That's real smart. See, now you might be onto something, bro.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, but the
But
Manson one's gonna be good.
hell
Manson
yeah.
will be good.
So when you were growing up, okay, so are you how old?
29.
Okay, all right. So when you were in middle school, you were coming up in high school. You were coming up with the Corns, the Slipknots, and like the Limp Biscuits and
Mhm.
stuff like that. Okay, so um
Yeah.
uh did you get introduced to that stuff in middle school or before, or how did you get involved in that kind of music?
Yeah, probably honestly elementary school and
Okay,
like fourth grade, fifth grade, probably. To be honest with you, what really, uh, I I grew up that we didn't have cable too
okay,
much growing up. Mom actually would record old school VHS tapes
oh.
from like MTV and VH1 Classic. And so she would record those on like VHS tapes and shit. So I grew up watching all that. So I grew up watching the Panteras, the Guns N' Roses, the Rat, the Quiet Riot, Queensryche, White Zombie, Iggy Pop, shit like that. That's what I grew up seeing on that. So being able to watch that and then take that in the element where I was younger, where I seen something that was of my age stature. I seen the music video for Left Behind by Slipknot
Okay.
when I was a kid. And I got bullied a lot when I was a kid for being obviously, let me fucking look at me. So that video set me, it did. That video set me because it was that kid that was sitting in there going through a similarity, and his room, like his house, the way it's set up, really hit me at home. And to watch that and see that video for Left Behind shocked me. And that first time I heard Slipknot when I was a kid, when that came out in 2001, and I
Mm,
was like 6 years old. I was in first grade, second grade,
wow.
and I seen that. Yeah, and that scared the living shit out of me in such a real way, because it was like being beside of somebody who had went through what you did, like a cousin or some shit. You know what I mean? So that really bonded with me, and then ever since then, I was 5, 6 years old. Slipknot's been there for me, bro. Slipknot been that
Gotcha.
epitome of my shit. Not even gonna lie. They've been everything. So that's where it started.
You know, Slipknot is. I remember
That was my
the first the first year they played Ozfest. My roommate went to Ozfest that year, and nobody really knew Slipknot at that time. But then there was like the rumors going around about this bad band, this badass band that's opening the fucking show. And at the end of the tour, they were like their album was huge just because of that summer. Their merch sales outsold mostly everybody on the Ozfest that year. It's just like and now look at them, man. They're not a band. They're a machine now. They're a business. Slipknot's a
fucking
business now.
machine.
Yeah, it's
That's the goal. That's
yeah,
literally the goal for this. Honest
yeah.
to God. Same thing. We mold our craft after them. To be honest, every element of it, we mold our craft after them.
I mean, and you have. I mean, your range of music is so huge that you got so many elements that you pull from everybody from different types of how you want to run something. Everybody wants to run a business like Kiss. You know what I'm saying? They want to have everything like, Kiss. Everybody wants to have everything like Kiss did at one point, probably. You wouldn't mind have the coursing condoms, or, whatever. The coursing sushi place, whatever. But no, but then you want to be, but you want to still go strong and hard still at that age, like Slipknot is. You just like there's all these different elements you can pull from all
Bingo.
these different bands you know. I mean, there's only few bands from our generation or my
Bingo.
generation, your generation that are big like that, because there's not. I mean, give me a band that's like Slipknot right now that's that big.
Uh,
There isn't
right
really.
now, you have to physically think about it.
Yeah.
You have to physically think about it.
And is
And
that
the
band
only
going to be
thing that you
around in
can
2
remotely
years?
Bingo. That was my
Yep.
next thing. That was my next fucking
Yeah.
thing. Are they gonna be relevant in 2 years? Are they gonna be selling out? No, no, no. But what's funny? Metallica could come back. Ozzy could come back. Megadeth could come back and do a tour. Sell
Yeah.
out the whole fucking thing.
Look, whether you like it or not, and it is what it is, but you know, I give the man still credit. Look at Motley Crue, still doing the damn thing, and
I agree.
they're still selling out. ACDC is
They
about to
dropped
do a
some
North
good
America one
songs.
recently.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But no, ACDC is coming back to the States next year. They're still going
Yeah.
strong. You know, I mean, come on.
That's 40 years.
Shit, maybe even 50.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
And I
Yeah.
watched a concert recently of Angus, and he's still out there running around, drenched in sweat, just going ham, dude. Like,
Yeah.
it's yeah.
Like nothing's changed.
What was one of the last concerts you went to?
Ooh, last concert. I gotta think. Plans, to that, but sometimes you don't get to go out as much. Last concert I went to. Funny enough, I go to a lot of different styles of musical concerts too as well.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
pick up on stage shows, production, yada yada, stuff like that. So I'll give you the last 3 shows I went to just to show you the diversity. Last show I went to was actually in Nashville, and I went to see Tate McRae
Okay.
in Nashville with my lady because she's a huge Tate McRae fan. So I took her
Okay.
there, packed, fucking at that the outdoor Coliseum right beside
Yes.
the Titans Stadium.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
yeah, right
Ascend.
out
Yeah.
there. And then before that, yeah, Ascend, yeah. And then right before that, I seen Hardy, and I'm a huge Hardy fan. Hardy is
Okay.
phenomenal. And then before that was Nickelback.
Okay. I mean, those are all.
And
I mean, you definitely
love
right.
Nickelback.
All right. I see. You know, they were the joke for a while because that's just somebody has to be the joke for a little bit, and you know, they always came out with some bangers, man. I watched that documentary on Netflix, man. I'm like, I see that band in
Yeah.
a whole different light, dude. Like, you don't know the work that these guys did.
You really
You
don't. And
know?
they did so much work for so many other bands that weren't even affiliated in the same genre and the same style and the same shit, and still did so
Mhm.
much work for them, still helped them out. And they'll never realize that. It's like
I-
wrestling. It's literally wrestling, okay? So it's like a lot of people, Reigns is fucking Roman Reigns, right? But
yeah,
Roman
yeah.
Reigns himself has did so much for the fucking company and other wrestlers, and they can't fathom it yet too at all, bro.
Mhm. No, I get it. You know,
It's crazy.
it's like you're right because like Nickelback, they made so much money for Roadrunner, so much money for Roadrunner Records at that period of time. Nickelback did, you know, and you're right. It's kind of like what Roman Reigns is doing. He's making money for everybody. People are wanting to come, so the more people, the more money people get. You know, Clarksville has in January. Clarksville has AEW coming here.
Oh, that's gonna be good.
Yeah, but the arena that's
I'm
coming
stoked.
in, it's they're only literally selling tickets for half the arena. And NXT sold out here. So I think AEW could sell out with a full arena, but I don't know.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. I think that they do that for security reasons because everybody's already talking shit. Whether or not, obviously you can't not say that WWE's not the superior thing. Let's just, what I'm saying? Just know that, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
that nothing's going to compete. That's like a local band, no matter what stature you are, trying to compete with Metallica right down the road.
Yeah.
You're not going to do it. I'm sorry. You're physically just not. So just know that. And it's
Yeah.
okay. That's truly okay. And it's great to be optimistic and try to want to be bigger. That's great. So,
Yeah.
but if you open a full Coliseum and you sell out half the Coliseum, 3/4 Coliseum, then let that be that motivation. Let that be that motivation to the next time you come down, you want to sell the other half of the Coliseum out,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. It's
That's
kind of
how I
like
see it.
it's kind of like when you're playing a show. If there's 4 people there, you play to those 4 people like there's 400 people, 500 people, 1,000 people, because you never know what those 4 people might tell their friends and get them interested. And then those friends might come out and they might tell their friends. And then all of a sudden that 4 people might turn into 60 people. you know. So
Like that. Yep. Word of mouth travels farther than my personal opinion. I swear, still to this day, word of mouth means more and travels further than social media still does to this day.
oh yeah.
To this day.
It's sad, but now you gotta. I mean, it's not sad about this, but I mean, but now too, to stay on top, you got to constantly be engaged with your accounts as far as the band and stuff. You got to always be posting fresh new content up. You got to always got to interact. If somebody writes you, you got to write them back or whatnot. You don't have to, but interaction with your fans is number one nowadays.
Yeah.
And hell, even
Big.
if somebody hires somebody, they don't know they're not talking to you.
They have no clue. They have no clue.
So,
That's great.
so are you in charge of all the social medias?
Oh, I'm in charge of everything.
Yeah.
I'm in charge of everything. And it's like it's a hard pill to swallow sometimes. It's not so grand as everybody thinks it is all the time. When everybody's like, oh yeah, the main dude in charge, bro. Nah, it's straight up hell most of the time. But I wouldn't have it any other way, to be honest with you. Like I got shit blowing up on my shit right now, and then my lady texted me right now, like what dinner. She's
Okay.
it literally just comes in waves. It never fails, bro. It never fails. But yeah, the social media stuff is huge, and I'm literally in charge of everything. It's a real big anxiety driven thing, to be honest with you, most of the time, because 1,000 things come through, and it's hard to respond to everybody, bro. It's so fucking
I bet,
hard.
man. I bet. Well, hell, man. I know it's Thanksgiving Day. Do you want to go ahead and cut it here? Maybe we can do another part here in a little while, so we ain't keeping you from the family.
I would love that, bro. I would absolutely love
man.
that.
Cool. Well, tell
I
everybody
love that.
where
We
they can
definitely
find
need to
your
do a part
band.
two. I need to do one with you.
With who?
Bro, you can find us on Instagram, on Facebook, on any kind of social media at The Coursing. Everything coursing. One word, do coursing. 2 words, you can do it, you're going to find. And we will be dropping some new motherfucking music for you here real soon, bro.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you taking out the time, man, today to bullshit with me for a little bit, man. Dylan, it was cool. Until next time, we will talk with you, brother.
Bro, it is always a pleasure to see you, Russ. You are family to us. You are not only a partnership in this world that we have with this music industry, but you are a brother to us, Russ, and we appreciate you and love you to death and all that you do, man. Thank you so much, bro.
I appreciate you, homie. Peace.
Well, if you need anything, you call me, all right?
All right, brother. Be safe.
All right, brother. You too, buddy.